Joining me in studio for the discussion today, Abraham Amaliba. He is Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. Next to him is Kwame Jantua. He's a legal practitioner, energy analyst, and a member of Kwame Nkrumah's own party, the party that led Ghana to independence. The CPP, right?
You don't know.
Oh, I'm asking you to confirm your membership of the party.
But why do you think I'm in any other party?
Okay, so you are still with the CPP.
Why do you think I'm in? Have I announced the country that I'm in a different party?
We also have Professor.
Like this mischief.
You taught me.
Me.
I'm learning from you.
But may I say good morning to the people of Becky?
Okay.
They watch TV3. I was there over the weekend.
Oh.
And they watch this program. Good morning,
okay.
Becky citizens.
Becky citizens.
Yes.
Good morning to all of them. I'm also joined by Professor Enoch Opoku Entry. He's also a regular on the Friday session. He is a governance and policy analyst. Prof is also joining us. Prof, it's good to see you.
Great to be here as always, and it's a beautiful Friday. All the best to the Black Stars.
We'll come to the Black Stars
Yes.
a bit shortly, but I just want to start off from the situation that we are learning at Adum in the Ashanti region. Let me start with Mr. Amaliba. I mean, Mr. Amaliba, we're watching the videos together. I mean, we see how the attempt by the firefighters to control the situation. I mean, watching the video, I was a bit disturbed. I mean, it doesn't appear that they will be successful, at least from what we've seen, if that is how they intend to fight it in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, good morning to your viewers. I am saddened by what I'm seeing. I was asking myself whether what the fire service is doing there is actually effective. Because for an efficient and effective, quenching of fire, you need a fire tender that can rise above the building or even close to the building. This is a safety issue. I don't think that the fire service currently is prepared to deal with this fire. If they do not have fire tenders that can rise up to the building, why don't they call for support from other places? Because I know the Ghana Fire Service have a few fire tenders that can lift themselves to a very high height. What is happening now is like using a garden water hose to quench this fire. And it is sad that this is happening.
Mr. Maliba, what is worrying from the video is that the fire is actually at the top. So they risk even it extending if they are not attacking the source of the fire.
So I don't know so much of safety issues, but I think that what they can do now is rather to put so much water below so that the fire up cannot come down. Because the fire is not even being fought at where it is. But I can see the fire, the hose getting to the lower part. So why don't you focus on wetting the lower part so the fire cannot come down? But you see that they are still pointing the fire up, the hose up, and it's not even effective. It's not getting to the fire.
And if you look at the left side of the building, you can already see that the fire has already extended
and it's getting spreading. So it's a sad incident. My brother here says that he has a house around there, and he was also worried that maybe he's had
an impact. But this tells us something, that we should look at the fire service structure. Fire tenders, ambulances are key things that we need to find money to get, because both are lifesavers. It's like water and air. If you're in a home and your home catches fire, if the fire service don't come to try and quench that fire, you're dead. So I think we need to look at it, and we need to find the money to buy adequate fire tenders. I'm just coming from Akosombo on this committee thing that we were doing to investigate the VRA spillage. And even with VRA, they have fire tenders within their environment. Even looking at the fire tenders, I wonder whether if there's a major fire, it will be able to handle it. How many fire tenders are here? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? What time did this fire start? Was it 5 a.m. this morning?
We are told it started quite early this morning.
Quite early this morning. How quick were the fire service there? And you're saying the whole of Kumasi, they don't have fire tenders with escalating ladders. Is that what we're saying? So it is challenging. I would like to know what caused the fire, because the fire is very intense.
Yeah.
At this present moment, it seems to be contained on the upper floor.
Yeah.
It hasn't sunk down, but it is intense fire. We need a situation where people will say, how possible is that? Well, at least if we had helicopters or planes that can douse fire from the air, it would also help. So I think we should look at the kind of architecture we have for our fire service and make sure that we can find the money. I keep saying, we continue to buy what? 4x4s.
Yeah.
For public servants, for CEOs, for ministers. Why can't we divert some of that money into buying fire tenders for the people of Ghana? The previous government, I think, bought some quantum of fire tenders and some quantum of ambulances. I hope that this government will continue it, because do you know the loss that people are going to go through this fire?
I mean, lots of investment.
Lots of investment.
And more often than not, the government would have to step in to provide assistance. And Prof, I mean, we've seen...
I just finished. AB was whispering to me, in Ghana, when you have fire problem, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You're on your own, and that is worrying. Very worrying.
And Prof, I mean, we've seen this happen. I mean, if you pick the last 6 or 7 months, it's mostly markets and business areas where you have structures close to each other. And some of these places, when you visit, even with an untrained eye, you can clearly tell that if there is a fire outbreak, because even in terms of normal human emergency, you don't even have, you can clearly see that you struggle to get out. And so the question I always ask when I see such places is, if there's a fire incident, how would they even go in?
I think, thank you again. This is a major problem in Africa, where you see that the structures are not built well. We don't have access to even homes. So access roads are terrible. And then you have illegal connections. So we talked about the market here in Accra that got engulfed in fire, Kantamanto, recently. And now it's Adum. So what is happening there? The best way to solve a problem is to foresee it before it becomes a problem. And that means that logistically you need to prepare for it. But you can tell that we are not prepared for such eventualities. Why do I say so? If you talk about the fire service, they lack these fire tenders and even water to get into the trucks and then pump them up there is a problem. We all saw the footage. It means that we are ill prepared for this. We don't have choppers, which is helicopters, which can just pull waters from the up and then stop this one time. We don't have that. We are not prepared for such emergencies. I remember one time I was driving in US, and there was an accident in front of me. Now, that accident in front of me, we had 20 police cars. We had 2 helicopters. We had all the ambulances, because life is really important. But we are playing as if life is not important. Now, I don't know about insurance for these market women that have lost all their capital in the world. I saw a woman sitting down there crying because her world is gone. Now, talk about what the government is going to do for us. And as Kwame said, you are now on your own. What do? Do you have to go and borrow again? Now even bank loans have 32% interest rates. How do you pay back? That means everything is gone. I also have not seen fire extinguishers. I think that the fire service should make sure that we have fire extinguishers in every store, which is going to, because security is more important than honor.
I mean, but even these days in modern structures, they have like a firefighting system inbuilt.
Yes,
within it. So
but we don't have those at our. We don't have those at our markets.
Yeah.
And that means we have to restructure the way we build our market, because a lot of money is in these markets. These women are holding the country. Yeah. The market women are holding the country. And if we are not supporting them, if we are not holding them, and we leave them on their own, it doesn't help anybody. So I think this is a holistic effort. We talk about government logistics, we talk about the fire service being ready, we talk about even the water holes that we need by the roadside. We have to make sure that they have access to the place. We need some helicopters for these emergencies. After 68 years of independence, I think that these things should come offhand when we need them.
Maybe you wanted to make a point.
I have looked at the pictures carefully, the video, and I see that there's a ladder on that tender. I saw a ladder there. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean that the firemen themselves are afraid to go up? But I just received a message from a military officer. He says that there's a ladder there.
On the vehicle?
On the vehicle, yes.
On the vehicle,
yes, you can see it.
Yes, I can see that.
So, he is saying that there is lack of simulation training. And this is what they should be doing frequently. And maybe these are people who have not gone through the simulation training, and so they are just there, and they don't want to go up. Because,
really?
Yes,
That's
lack of simulation training. Yes. You know? Because the ladder is there, why are they not projecting it?
So we mean the Ghana Fire Service is not training?
It's on the back of
they are not training?
It's there.
Are they not training?
It's there. Yeah. It's there. Yeah. So the lack of simulation training could be the reason why they are not projecting it. Because even when they go up, they will be consumed by the fire.
Let me ask. Those ladders that go up, they are ladders on turntables.
Yeah, on
turntables.
Yes.
So it extends, and the turntable is what's used to control.
Yeah.
But looking at that ladder, it is on the fire tender. Is it the kind of ladder they have to pick up with their hand?
No,
is it a mechanical?
There are those ones that are not on the vehicle. They are just like an attachment to the vehicle.
Yes.
So they are controlled so electronically. It goes all the way up. Then you can be on top of it. Yeah.
So what is the use of this?
So we don't know the kind of ladder that is on there. Is it a
might
manual?
Not be a professional.
Exactly. It might not be a manual. It might be a manual ladder where they have to pick up and put probably next to a house and climb. We don't know, but it looks like that. It doesn't look like an escalating ladder where it has a turntable.
But our colleague who is covering this for us, Evans Nkum, he tells us that, I mean, the fire is spreading very fast and more shops are going down now. And so that is the situation
so why
there.
Don't you call for reinforcement? I just saw only one tender. How about the other surrounding fire stations? Why don't they come?
We hope they're able to bring the situation under control. We'll cross over to Evans at some point in time to get a bit more on this particular situation.
Most times you would use that fire foam to douse this type of fire.
The foam, yeah.
Yes. Do we have it? That's why I'm saying the architecture of the fire service should be looked at.
Yeah. I think they also complain that they don't have logistics. They don't. And if you don't have the tool, then what do you do? So we should be, focusing on these areas, because life is everything.
Yes.
Life is only once. And if you lose property like this in such a way that this fire could have been quenched within 30 minutes, if we have the right logistics. So we should be working towards that. We have grown 68 years to be enough to handle issues like this. It's not always that we'll be sitting here and complaining about issues, throw our hands in the air in despair, when we can do something. Because Sarah said that the skill to do comes from the doing itself. And there's simply no substitute for doing. So we have to learn by doing.
There's a building close to the fire, the one that is touched. Why didn't they use the adjoining building?
Yes, that would have been
because that would also give them a height.
This is common sense, right?
Oh yes.
It's common
but
sense.
It's only
go to the adjacent building, use the hose.
God, the only species that God created with reasoning is human beings.
Yes.
But we hardly use it. So there's an adjoining building.
Dogs don't have reasoning.
So why don't you go to the adjoining building and have a height?
Use the water hose and then you can easy. Because then you can level up.
Exactly.
You are sitting here, you come for
So lack of simulation training, that he's talking about. Simulation training.
Well, Ebo Bachman has joined us in the studio as well. Ebo Bachman.
We are the only people who do this.
Common sense is not common, right?
Economic the common man. Ebo, it's good to see you.
Well, it's good to be back. Last week I couldn't make it.
Yeah, we received information.
Yeah, but I was watching.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm also happy to be here. But I'm happy and at the same time sad. I'm saddened by what I'm seeing this morning. You see, when it comes to the issue of fighting fire, time is of essence. Once you are not able to act within a short time, the situation will get out of hand because fire spreads easily, especially when it gets to market areas where you have these materials that easily catches up. I believe that this is a lesson to all of us. The fire service is an institution that has been neglected for a long time. I don't know why people don't really, our authorities don't really pay attention to the issue of fire. It's devastating, it's very dangerous. And so when these things are happening, I mean, if you just this year, you've had a lot of fire outbreaks all over the place. And it looks as if we've not learned our lessons over the years. And so they keep recurring. And it's important we take issues of fire, especially in fire issues within market areas. Very, very important we take serious look at some of these things. I am saddened, honestly, if you look at investments that are going down the drain this morning. If you're not careful, sometimes, if it is market, sometimes we are fortunate that human lives are not lost, but investment are lost. But if it occurs in normal communities or households, then we know that you're going to have human lives also affected. And it is important. Our leaders must pay attention to the fire service, and whatever resources that they will have to put in there, what kind of any kind of investment that will be able to help us fight fire, they should be able to do it. I mean, we don't have to pay only attention to the military and the police. The fire service equally deserves
prisons too. Yeah,
prisons too deserve attention. I have always said that if I have my own way, we'll build new prisons for I mean all the if you like our prisons will be renovated or we'll put up new burdens for our prisoners because they are all human beings.
I mean, let's try and get some answers on the situation at Adum in the Ashanti region. Alex Kenate is with the PR department of the Ghana National Fire Service. He joins us on the line. Good morning, sir. First, what briefing have you received and regarding the fire situation in the Ashanti region? I'm assuming you are not there, but you've got some briefing.
Definitely. So, as we speak, we have fire tents at the scene. It's so hard.
You said you have how many fire tenders? How many?
5 fire tents. So this fire tents from our regional close to Apachapa. We join our so university, all current service had to protect the fire. The fire of making the spread fight getting up. They are committed. Our commander is there, making sure that the fire from further. The fire is still progress that we had it. For the end of the day, so we should be able to totally excel.
I mean, one major concern that has come up in terms of the videos that we have received has to do with the way your men are fighting the fire. I mean, the point being made is that they are not using turntables higher up enough to access the source of the fire. Have you seen those videos yourself, and do they have access to the required equipment to access a building that is higher up that way?
Okay, so the that you saw was at the end stage. After now, as we speak right now, the turntable ladder is at the tip fighting the fire. It's worth noting that in the whole of Ashanti, we have just one turntable ladder, which we at the regional helping, and as we remove the lack of logistics on our part, and we've been assured that, Excellency the President, we are hoping that the time that we are able to, but we are hoping that before we would reach the cap.
I mean, you mentioned that you have 5 fire tenders at the scene, and you also made reference to the turntables now. How many of the turntables are at the scene as we speak now, trying to deal with the situation?
So I said that one turntable. We have one turntable at so that's one turntable at the scene. The one from Kudu. I think that it's more that turntable that will touch one so what other all in the do the fire.
All right, we'll try and see if we can get a clearer connection and get back to you. But I mean, I get him make the point that what they have is not enough. They have one turntable currently at the scene trying to deal with the situation, even though they have 5 fire tenders. And he makes the point that, well, it's not enough, and they hope that they could get some more from government to be able to deal with some of these situations. So let's see how that one goes there. And so that is it by way of the Doom Fire. We'll try and go back to Evan and see if there is a major update to bring you on this situation there. Beyond the fire situation, there's a major event happening later today. The Ghana Black Stars are in action coming up against Chad. The last time Ghana played, a lot of Ghanaians were not too happy about the team's performance. There have been lots of conversation about captaincy issue here and there. The captain moved from Kudus, it moved around. Now we are told that it's going to Jordan Ayew, and I heard him yesterday say that, well, it seems it was written in the stars that he was going to get a captaincy. But the president visited them, the sports committee in parliament also visited them. They're all assured that they are going to deliver victory today, and that is an issue that I'm sure we all should be interested in. And we have a former footballer with us around the table. AB. Oh, okay, so they have 2 footballers now. You also playing?
Oh, I play football too. I even played Legon team.
Oh, Legon, oh yeah.
Legon team.
The university team proper.
Mohamed Polo was our coach.
Oh, I see. I see. Mr. Janso, you also had a bit.
He was a cheerleader.
Yes,
So, which position?
But my father played for Kotoko.
Oh, I see.
Yes, Janto Abeti. My father played for Kotoko.
Oh.
Yes.
Which position were you playing?
I was a defender. I played in the central defense. But at the regional level, I was shifted to the right side. And I played up to the regional level when I was in Navasco. Then in the University of Cape Coast, I played up to the whole level. So I nearly dropped from schooling to play football. But I was always homesick when I leave. So I couldn't pursue.
You like home food?
Yeah, so I couldn't pursue my agenda.
I want to do a test for us to see something. Who's your favorite Black Star player now?
My favorite Black Star player is Kudus. Because, so I can give, in a team, you need a spine to be correct. You know your spine. Your spine passes through your back.
Yeah.
That straight line.
Yeah.
You need your goalkeeper to be good, your number 5 to be good, your number 6 to be good, and your number 9 to be good. That's a spine. Kudus, attacking midfielder, is my type of player. So if you notice, I am like a person who likes Stanley Abura, if you know Stanley Abura.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who likes somebody like Annan, that smallish guy. Anthony Annan. I like those type of Asian type of midfielders. Partey. I don't like the cool type of. Their football is nice, not stylish. I like.
You like a bit of aggression.
I like a bit of aggression. So, if you look at that angle, then you can see Kudus from the midfield and attacking. Adding bite to the attack. That is why I like about him.
I see. Prof, who's your favorite Black Star player?
I'll go for Partey. I think he's been very consistent at that level. And in football, nobody knows, but I watch football than anybody. I can sit from morning to night because that's my only friend, watching soccer. and flip from everywhere in Europe. If games are won from transition, from the defense and then the midfielders, and then they had to pass the ball to the strikers and the wingers. I think our challenge in Blaster, what is Chad? Chad should have been just a pushover. When we talk about Ghana, Chad is do you know, as we sit here, 4 teams are already qualified for 2026 World Cup. US, Canada, Mexico, and yesterday Japan. So we need to qualify. In fact, brothers need to go to US. And they have to. Brothers need to go to US, and we need to do everything within our capabilities to qualify. I'm glad to hear the Minister of Sports saying that the Cape Coast Stadium is going to be made just solely for the Blasters, because we need a special place for the Blasters, and we don't have any yet ready to meet even FIFA standard, which is a shame to Ghana. Moving forward, I also listened to the president telling them that he's been watching them at their various teams. They play very well. But when they come here as a team, they struggle. Is it motivation? Is it psychological? What is it? Is it that they don't have an environment? And I've also spoken to Dr. Pambo, who was doctor of the Blasters. Most of our boys are having injuries. You know, they played on tough parks, and then because our parks are not even, and sometimes it's sand and the grass is not there, most of them are carrying some injuries. So it's become a problem for them. And our pitches are not good. Party has talked about that. Yeah. We need to have good pitches because Ghana, we've come too far. In fact, any economic indices in Africa, the top 3, Ghana is there. So why should we struggle to beat Chad? Simple Chad. We should beat them and beat them heavily.
Favorite Black Star player first?
I don't have any favorite player.
At all?
No, not at all.
But which football team do you support?
Ghana here.
No, anywhere.
I mean Ghana here, from Cape Coast.
Okay, outside Ghana.
I'm a Bacano boy. So
outside Ghana, which team?
Barcelona.
Oh, I see.
Barcelona.
I see.
Barcelona.
But you don't have a favorite Black Star player?
I really don't. We have some good guys there, but I don't have one that, because consistency is very important in football. I can only say you are my favorite when you are consistent in terms of performance. But today, you blow hot and cold.
Did the prof mention your favorite player?
Yes.
You said who? Party. Okay.
Yeah, Party. So I really, but like the president said, we should expect, some of us would have to eat before the match, just as the president said, because sometimes you get disappointed when it is obvious they should win. And so I don't want to have that situation. So I will eat before the match so that I don't get disappointed.
The last time I went to watch the Ghana-Sudan here at the stadium, and the match ended 0-0. How was
Sudan? Oh yeah.
Sudan. And you know, I told my brother I'm going to watch Sudan, and he asked me that, what could Shebo Mama 0-0? Like 90 minutes, no goal.
If you watch Senegal 92, if you watch Senegal 92,
at least you've seen a goal. I mean, no goal. I mean, Mr. Gantua, your favorite player first?
Favorite player
in the Black Stars?
I wouldn't talk about the favorite player. There are quite a number of players who do well. Mine is, I like those players when the team is down on the field, they can command the troops to score. And in the dressing room, they are the kind of player who shows leadership and the boys follow. So Tornado is one of them. Jordan, Dede Ayew is another one of them. Because in times when things are tough on the field, you need somebody who can...
I think I can say the same for Samojan. For many years.
Yes, Samojan. For many
years. Yes. I mean, he was doing that.
You need somebody who can push the boys.
You know, I played with Bafojan. We played in the same team, Coast team in Cape Coast.
Oh.
Liverpool, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Whatever the case, the most important thing is to score a goal. And if you have players who can command the boys on the field, you see a change. I mean, looking at the team we have, you have people in there who can do that job. Be it a captain, be not a captain. It is when the chips are down, that is when you need that bravery to show. When it doesn't show, it becomes a challenge. Now, we shouldn't take Chad for granted. Today, there are no minnows in football on the African continent.
Comoros have taught us that many times.
Taught us that many times. Many times. So we shouldn't take it for granted. Where are they playing this match?
I think here in Accra.
Here in Accra. And you were saying that, the minister was saying that we need to have a football field.
That Cape Coast Stadium is going to be purposely for the Black Stars.
So if the Cape Coast Stadium is going to be purposely for the Black Stars, will they get the kind of support from the people in Cape Coast?
I don't know whether it will be for just official matches necessarily, because when he mentioned it, that also came to mind, because I know that generally attendance-wise, Kumasi tends to do better.
Yes. Tends to do better than all the others.
Yeah.
So it is something that should be, the minister should try and tell us what he means. Is it going to be a training field? What is it going to be? Cape Coast, I can see a reason why, because it can push tourism. Cape Coast has a lot of history where Ghana is concerned. However, if you're going to use that particular stadium for the Black Stars, then you also need to know that you need to develop the area better. Roads, transportation, the tourist sites, lift all that up, because you're trying to kill two birds with one stone. But I wish them well. The president went there yesterday. He says he's going to be at the stadium. And I want all Ghanaians to be positive. For me, Black Stars, whether they do well, they don't do well, I still support them. Yeah. Who else should I go and support? Yeah. But support Black Stars. Yeah. I support my local team before I support my international team. Yes. Internationally, Black Stars aren't in the World Cup, I'll support England. Although sometimes they mimic Ghana. We have a lot in common, actually. Yes, a lot in common. Not doing well in major tournaments, but if you are having not careful, a lot of very good individual players. Say you have a heart attack if you are not careful. But sometimes too, they play well. Yeah. I'm not sure, and I'm not a coach, whether the lobbing ball would help in terms of you get it, you lob to your front runners. We need to score a goal. We are not at the AFCON, Afro World Cup. We need to be there.
Oh yes, yes.
Destinies are tied to the qualification.
There, we need to be there. And I think in the lineup we have some local players too in there.
Yes, a few of them. Yeah.
Yes, they should try as much as possible not to allow fear to get to them, and they should perform at the highest they can perform.
You know, I was asking about a favorite player because, I mean, if you pick all the great teams, they always stand out players. And if you pick our current team, well, there are individual players who are doing very well in their teams, but in terms of their performances in their Ghanaian jersey, you can't really describe them as standout players. If you pick a player like Inaki, I watch him when he's playing against my Barcelona, I'm scared. He's running in behind, but he comes and all of a sudden.
Yesterday, his brother was man of the match when they played against the Dutch.
That boy is so good. So is it?
I don't know why we couldn't get him too.
Is it that there is no chemistry between the players?
I think it's lack of effort.
I mean, when you look at the Asian Tornado,
they killed themselves.
They were together.
Even when they lost games, you will know that they did their best. Me, when I'm even marking student papers, it's based on effort. Somebody is so smart, but you can see that they didn't put in much effort in what they were writing. But somebody is an average person, but you can see that they made all the effort. And I like effort in marking people and grading papers. Why is that important? Because if you look at where our players are playing, no Chadian player plays to that level.
In fact, the advantage that they have is that we are told about 10 of them play in the same team.
Yes, but it's a local team. That's an advantage. It's a local team. When Haas and Kotoko were really good at that time, when we had the Stanley Abras and the Chanchahinis and the others, we had a strong blaster. Yeah. Now we don't. They are all scattered over the world, but from Cyprus to anywhere that we put them from.
But remember, Zambia, when they had that accident, what did they do? Local players. Look at how they moved.
But they had Kalisha Bola. But you see, they had Kalisha Bola who was leading the team too. You see, a leader.
Apart from the leader on the field, the bench too has a lot to do with the game. How the bench looks at the game and how the bench can change when they need to change also can determine.
Playing players out of position is also a problem.
Yes.
In their clubs, they play certain position, but when they come, then you, the coach, decides to put them in a different position, also creates some alignment problems. I also think that the pitch, because don't forget these are all professional players. Yeah. The pitch could also have an effect on them.
Okay.
You may think that it is something little, but it's like weather conditions. If you are used to a particular weather, once you move to the other side, you find you feel the effect. So the pitch is also another area that
we have terrible pitches here.
I beg to differ.
So I think that what we can do first is to put them in their various positions where they play in their clubs, bring them in Ghana, play the same position.
You know, sometimes the challenge is
you have about 2 or 3 players
in the same position, so you want to more or less fit.
And they don't have the courage to bench another player.
I hear what he's saying, but on the pitch level, how did they start playing? Didn't they start playing on these?
But they are no more used to it.
But to be fair, some of them are no more used to it. Some of the players in the team are players who were not even.
I'm telling you, even high school pitches, high school parks, you know, are better than ours.
About the passion that we all have for the Black Stars, and we expect
they should win. They must. Let's put it this way: they must win this game.
They said
if they don't, we have to whip them.
They are going to win, and we expect that
they shall win.
We expect that they will be able to win. So that is it by way of our initial issues here today. But major topics that we are going to delve into now. First has to do with this whole anti-corruption drive and being part of the Operation Recover All Loot that is currently underway. I mean, in the last few weeks, we've spoken about the finance minister. The latest is the Bank of Ghana governor. We know that some officers, operatives from the National Intelligence Bureau, went to his residence to execute a search warrant, and that has become the focus of discussion now. We've heard from the Deputy Attorney General confirming that it was conducted in a lawful manner. We've also seen pictures, and some of them are on your screens now. It's the CCTV system at the residence of the former governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, as he was visited by the minority leader, Afenyo Markin. And the claim is that the CCTV, parts of the CCTV system was taken away. The minority leaders allege that some 10,000 cedis that was on the bed somewhere was taken.
And the jewelry
some jewelry was also taken. A whole lot of issues surrounding this particular matter. And so it's one that is unfolding, and we'll see how all of that will play out. But I want to start with Mr. Amaleba, because he's written a lot in his notepad, and I don't know whether it was for the Black Star conversation or Adum, but he didn't look in the notepad when he was dealing with the 2 issues. So I'm assuming it's for this particular issue.
He has all that point.
Let me always ask you a different question. What do we know about this incident?
No, I've always said that if you are given an appointment, there's a period to enjoy the appointment, and there's a period of accountability. That is a given. So when you are given the appointment, you see everyone in the family jumping, putting powder on you, accompanying you to Parliament to meet the vetting committee. Those are the period of joyness, and maybe the perks that go with the office. But there's also a period of accountability that we should understand. Did the national security do anything wrong? The answer to me is no. Were they guided by a warrant? The answer is yes. And if they were guided by a warrant, did they go by the dictates of the warrant? That for me is how we should look at it. But to think that because somebody is a governor, and I heard Afenyo Markin say that this is the first time a governor has been subjected to that. No. In some countries, presidents are put behind bars. Afenyo, in some countries, presidents are prosecuted and put behind bars. If you have nothing to hide, there's no problem if these people come to you. They will visit you, but they will find nothing. So, I am not the type who would want to speak in favor of appointees if it is time for accountability. How else were they going to go there? No. How else was the national security going to go there? I hear people say Rambo style. But if the national security, and we all know the way they operate, they come at dawn. Because if they let day break, you may vacate. So they come at dawn, 4:30. Would we have been complaining if these were common criminals? We won't complain. If this was a swoop on ordinary Ghanaians who have been put together and say they are armed robbers. We see that a lot in our courts. So why is it that because it's a government official, we are raising our voices and saying that it is wrong. How else you want to search somebody's house? How else will you search the house? I mean, won't you go there?
The criticism has always been, I mean, for many Ghanaians, and especially people of a certain age, they are a bit uncomfortable if the National Intelligence Bureau is the one leading some of these things. That's the first point, because that's an agency that you're not going to see a statement from. They are not going to explain anything to you. I mean, if you are lucky, you're going to get information. Because the point that is being made has to do with the fact that, look, now the claim is being made that 10,000 cedis was on some bed somewhere that was taken away. Some jewelry were taken. And NIB is not an agency that you're going to hear from.
Look, let the maker of that statement prove what he's saying. Afenyomarkin is a mischievous person, I know. He has put this out there to paint the national security bad. But what's the evidence? You should provide evidence. You don't just say things without evidence. So, where I agree with you is the opaque nature of their activities. I agree. They and they are the same. They are now the National
Intelligence.
That was they used to call them what?
BNI.
BNI.
Yeah.
The opaque, as a lawyer, I agree 100% with you. The opaque nature of their transactions. They will keep you, refuse your lawyers to see you. That for me goes against the principles of the Constitution. They will keep you, refuse your relatives to see you. That for me is inhumane. So that institution, if we are now zeroing in on the institution's conduct, that institution, I agree, must be reformed. Because you have a right to your counsel, you have a right to visitation. If you are a suspect, you are not a criminal, because it could end up that you are not culpable, and so you don't have to be treated like a common criminal or a criminal. Even criminals have rights. Criminals, prisoners have rights. And so I agree that institution needs to be reformed. That I agree with you.
And finally, another issue that has come up, they said that they took the CCTV away. I mean, I've seen some explain the point that, look, it's part of the investigation they are conducting. But again, the claim has been is that it was taken even before the search began, more or less to make them fly blind within the residence.
It depends on the content of the warrant. Because when you go for a warrant, you state, I want to search his bedroom, I want to search his bathhouse, I want to take these documents, I want to take this thing, I want to take that thing. It's spelled out. So, if that institution were, excuse my word, a transparent institution, they would have shown us the warrant. But objects that are a subject matter of investigation can be taken away from your house. In fact, your phone can be taken away, your laptop can be taken away, because that is the source of the information that they are looking for. So taking the CCTV is not new, it's not wrong. It depends on whether or not it was listed as one of the things that the national security was interested in.
I see. I mean, I'll come back around the table to get some more views on this particular matter. Let's head to the Ashanti region now, just to get an update on the situation at Adum, where Evans Nkume is monitoring for us. Evans, earlier you painted an image for us, a disturbing one, where firefighters were struggling to bring the fire under control. Is the situation the same, or things have improved? Because the fire officers tell us that, I mean, in terms of the equipment available, they have more tenders now, and also a turntable that they are using to bring the situation under control.
Well, so yes, I mean, we've seen a number of tenders around, but accessibility is now the problem now, and they are becoming helpless at this situation because they are unable to access the new, fire scene, and that is quite ravaging. Now, just behind me is behind the record, and this is where they are finding very difficult to deal with because there's no access route. So even everybody, who is watching from this particular angle is helpless. You can see the gravity of the situation. You can understand how wild and fast the fire is spreading, and the fact that people are losing their wares. Thousands of cities, property are going down. A lot of shops are being gutted. but there is no solution to this particular situation at the moment. The only thing they can do is probably use another route to the other side of the market, but of course I'm talking about the particular route that links Roman Hill as of market or labor, and then the new, the second phase redevelopment project of the KJTR market project, let me put it that way, before they can even access parts of the affected side. Notwithstanding, a chunk of shop lie between the Hello FM, then behind Hello FM, and then the Akotia Demand building. And that is where we have quite a situation now. But that place, the fire tender has no accessibility. They have no accessibility. So, the people here are only, praying. And these are some of the owners who still find their shop here. They're only praying that maybe a miracle happens so that it doesn't spread to this side of the market. If it does, then it means is that the entire shop or half of the shop that are seated on the Kumasi railway station, they're all going to be engulfed. And I can see even from here that the fire is spreading. They are helpless. They are trying to salvage few things that they can lay their hands on. But at this moment, the people are helpless. Fire service is helpless. Please.
And Evans, are there any attempts to try and cordon off the place to prevent those who may be going in? Because, with what is happening behind you, there's a potential that some of them could find themselves in a very dangerous situation.
Well, they've done their best. Not too long ago, I also saw the police FPU car also making it here. So there's some level of reinforcement. But like I said, they can only fight to a certain point because accessibility is a problem here. For instance, this particular place, just below the footbridge, I still can see people trying to make their way to the fire scene and then salvage few things that they could lay their hands on. And there's nobody here, there's no fire officer here, there's no normal person here, there's no police here. And so I can say at this point that probably it is happening at their blind side. But that is how desperate people have become, because they are losing wealth and they simply cannot stand and lose this property. So there is a situation there, but like I said, the numbers are not enough, and even if they are, it is not everything that they are saying from this house. So sometimes they rely on the information that we provide and then maybe try to intervene. But that is not good enough, because like I said to you earlier on, there's no accessibility as far as fighting the fire is concerned. So they are only fighting at places where they have access. So as for this particular place, it is just a helpless situation.
Reporting from the Ashanti region on the fire situation at Adum. We'll see how things go over there. The situation does not appear to have changed from the earlier reports. It's still much of a challenging situation. We hope the firefighters are able to bring it under control, and so we'll be crossing over as and when he has major updates for us. But back to our conversation, we're having a discussion on the execution of a warrant by the National Intelligence Bureau at the residence of the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. And I want to come to Kwame Jantua, our legal practitioner. Mr. Jantua, some have already described it as a raid. From the facts that we know, they were executing a search warrant. With all that is in the public domain, do you think describing it as a raid is a fair description of a lawful order being executed by state officials, security operatives?
I don't see why it's being described as a Rambo-style raid. I don't know when they got to the gates what happened. Because definitely, if you have a warrant, you will show your warrant at the gate to whoever comes to open the gate. And if that person is not sure or does not understand it, they'll go call the owner of the house that these are the kind of people at the gate, and they indicate that they have a warrant to come in to search. So, Afenyo Marking was indicated that it was Rambo style, right? Mm. He's the only one who has described as a Rambo style.
Yeah.
Yes? Mm. So the Bureau people should tell us how they entered. Ideally, if I had my own way, they should have cameras following them to show how they enter any property with a warrant. Because from what we've heard, and it's only Afenyo's description that we have heard, that they forced their way through. When they got to the house, they forced their way through the house too. Was there any struggle between them and the occupants of the house? So when they use the term Rambo style, what are they trying to say? Are they saying that even with the warrant, they still forced themselves in there, went to the rooms, they weren't given the permission to go and search the rooms, and they forced their way to go and search? Is that what they're saying? So I would need clarification and definition on the style in which they entered the house.
And the question I was asking AB earlier about the NIB's posturing, I mean, should we not get to the point where some of these matters, I mean, immediately the issues are raised, they ought to clarify? Because, I mean, we pick up information, but sometimes I'm hesitant because I don't think it's our place to be speaking for them. And this is a situation where they are being accused that they've taken 10,000 cities.
When you say sometimes you have information, but you don't think it's your place to speak for them, you are the media.
No, in terms of, because the point is that there's an official state agency conducting an operation. We are told that they secured a warrant. From the time of the incident till now, there's not a single official communication from any government agency whatsoever.
But if you, as the media, have some prior information that you can help the situation.
I mean, at least what we've been able to help and put out is the fact that there was a warrant that we are told was being executed.
Fair enough. So
but the claims about whether 10,000 cities was taken or not,
they should come out and tell us. Now, what's Afenyo's evidence? Did the governor, the former governor, tell him that I had 10,000 cedis on my bed and it was stolen?
He said the governor told him the money was on the bed and they took it away.
So he's accusing them of
yes, in fact, if you watch the video, he actually makes the accusation that individuals, he suggests that party people who are more or less been recruited into the system, hungry boys who pick the money and the jewelry. I mean, that is why the point is being, I always make the point that they need to speak on some of these matters.
If that is the point of focus for Afenyo, then I don't think that point of focus is right. So you're saying that they have brought party boys in there to do the search, and those party boys have stolen money. Is that what he's saying? He's a lawyer. Show the evidence. If the governor says 10,000 cedis have been stolen from my bed, the governor himself should show evidence. It's not up to Afenyo to come and say it. It's up to the governor to make a complaint to the NIB that when you came to search my house, this and this and this and this is what happened. And I need clarification. Ask your people who came there. Look, let's do things such that the politics doesn't always come in. We seem to be politicizing every little thing. What were they looking for? Have NIB told us?
No, we don't know.
Exactly. What were they looking for that they had to go to the house? If for anything at all, before you even go to the house, you can go to the office. If you're going to search, if you're looking for information, do the house, do the office. But have we heard anything like that? So what kind of information? And is it restricted information? Is it information we don't need to know? Don't you think at least they should say, we wanted to search him because we wanted A, B, C, D, E? Is there anything wrong in that? Should the information be held back? Because NIB, who are they there for? They're there for the people of Ghana. The President Mahama, who is he there for? He's there for the people of Ghana. Interior Minister, who is he there for? He's there for the people of Ghana. So don't you think the people of Ghana deserve to know why? The same way spokespersons from Flagstaff House have been able to indicate that, yes, that was sanctioned by them. The same way they should be able to tell us why. Is there some information that has security implications that they don't want to say? If it does, tell us.
Okay. I mean, how do you process all what we know about this incident? Is there a cause for worry that something is taking place that is problematic, or you are satisfied with how things are being handled by the security operatives?
You see, there are questions to be asked, and if the answers are yes, I don't have any problem. Have they done anything outside the law? Did they go there with a warrant? If the answer is yes, I don't have any problem. If whatever they have done is within the confines of the law, I don't have any problem. If we believe that rule of law means equality before the law, then no one should be pampered when it comes to the issue of accountability. I don't think the governor is more Ghanaian than other Ghanaians who face the law all the time. Once he himself, at a point in time, became a public figure, you should know that once we are a public figure, you are bound to face some of these things. And when it comes to the issue of accountability, I even think that we are softer as a nation. We have not been tough on the issue of accountability. And that is why politicians can easily become rich overnight, and after leaving office, they will comfortably enjoy their loot, because we are not tough enough on the issue of accountability and corruption. For me, Afenyo's allegation is nothing but sophistry. He is always trying to, make political capital out of issues, because that is the only way they think they can survive, is to make noise and to get attention and to make allegations just to mislead and sometimes disinform people. So I appreciate what he's doing as a minority leader, but I think that sometimes you should also be careful as to the things they say, because I think he is not leading the way he's supposed to lead as the MPP as a minority leader, because some of the things he says, when you follow social media and you follow even conversation around, you realize that people are not happy with his style, and his description of if you like, the search as a Rambo style search and all that. Was he around? He wasn't around. but he is giving his own description just to, as I said, just to gain political capital. But then the issue of accountability, let me say this. I've always said that our laws, the way we have approached the issue of accountability and corruption have not been successful because of the nature of our laws. Go to Ethiopia, 9th January this year. They enacted a law, anti-corruption law, that goes back retroactively 10 years. It goes back 10 years. That if you've acquired within 10 years, if you acquired any asset or any property that your salary does not match, and it is beyond a certain amount, the state, the law empowers the government or the state to seize it. That is a serious country fighting corruption. And once somebody took the issue to court, you know what the court said? The court said corruption is a special case. Therefore, we need a special law to deal with it. That is why this law is accepted.
In Ghana, I don't think the court would accept retrospective.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that countries are confronted with corruption. As I said at that time to Singapore, the Anti-Corruption Prevention of Corruption Act, the Section 8. When you are caught, but like you are seen with a car, or you've built a house, or are staying in a house, and they find it's your own house, at the same time, like I said, if your salary cannot match the cost of the... It is presumed that you stole money, so that the burden of proof is not on the state, it's on you. You have to prove that you didn't steal state money. We need to be serious in fighting corruption. Yes, I think we are pampering politicians too much.
If that is the case, then declaration of assets should be made open for everybody to see.
That is what it's supposed to be.
That's what the governance have been making the case for throughout. I'll come back and come to Prof shortly, but let me just briefly engage. Andy Appiah-Kubi is a former member of parliament for Asante Achim North. He's also a legal practitioner. So, Mr. Kubi, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Oh, good morning, my brother.
I want to start off first with the incident, the latest being the execution of the warrants at the residence of Dr. Ernest Addison. I mean, are you satisfied with what has been put out in the public domain, that this was a lawful exercise of the power by the state operatives?
Thank you very much. And very good morning to your service listeners. Number one, I want to confirm that the operation was subject to a warrant issued by the court of law. I am not privy to any facts leading to that conclusion. So I want to be sure if that was the case. And in any case, we are still learning as a country. And if the application of laws, rules, or orders ought to have a human face also. And in any case, if there was a warrant issued by a court of competent jurisdiction, I would expect that the warrant will also respect the rights of the person who will be at the receiving end, albeit that that person has not been heard or anything, and the warrant was probably procured by an ex parte application, and therefore the surprises that come out of the execution of such orders, we ought to be used carefully. And again, the administrative management of judicial orders, we have to also look at it carefully, because I'm privy to a situation where somebody is being invited to an investigation body, and the invitation was by security service personnel who would rather handcuff the person and bring him to the investigation body. That it cannot be an invitation to that organization. So the orders could be given all right, or the mandates could be exercised all right, but the mode and the process of executing the mandate or order ought to also have a human face. So yes, if there was an order given by a court, such warrant issued by a court of competent jurisdiction, that is one thing. I'm not too sure about that. If that was the case, indeed, let's look at execution. You don't go to somebody's house, begin to dismantle, infrastructure in the house. Indeed, if you are also doing anything wrongful, then you shouldn't be afraid of how the law will also treat you, the executioner of the order. And therefore, you have to also be in lawful process of execution, so that you don't need to destroy CCTV cameras before you go into place, assuming that you're doing your lawful duty and you are discharging that duty lawfully. So there was no need for the distortion. So, number one, I am handicapped by way of information whether or not there was an order by a court of competent jurisdiction issued to the operative to go to do the search of the place. I don't know about it. If there was, yes. But again, let me also address the judiciary. Knowing how such warrants and such orders are to be executed, I think the judiciary will do a lot of good by going the extra mile of prescribing the mode of execution of the orders, so that innocent persons are not embarrassed and humiliated in front of say their families and things like that. Let's be human in our application of laws and mandates, and that's all that I can say for now. If there was a court of competent jurisdiction that gave that order, and the execution was not prescribed, then I would mean that it must be treated as an ordinary order for you to conduct a lawful search. And the lawful search does not connote destruction of CCTV cameras and the like. So, yes, and again, even the courts must also be careful in just issuing out such orders without the careful investigation of the background of such application. So, because we are not victims now, so we can easily endorse any approach. But when it comes to victims, then you will see how necessary it is for us to be able to apply the rules, albeit by statute and by procedure. It is so important to make sure that the procedural part of the law is also respected.
Handling of infrastructure. I mean, under the law, when you're executing a warrant, you are allowed to seize various articles. I mean, if we are to proceed on the assumption that, well, a warrant was indeed obtained, I mean, why should there be concerns if they've taken parts of a CCTV infrastructure as well, especially when we do not know the content of the warrant?
If you're doing your lawful duty, why should you be afraid of somebody who will see? Why would you destroy the CCTV camera? The warrant also indicate that when you go destroy CCTV cameras,
I mean, what about the possibility that that particular item is a subject of the investigation? For which reason they are taking it?
The CCTV camera is the subject of the investigation.
I mean, we do not know what they are investigating at this point, and so I'm just asking. I mean, covering all bases. I mean,
you don't know what they are investigating.
Yeah.
But why would you want to investigate somebody in the darkness? Why would you not want to investigate somebody in open there, so that even their investigation will be subject to procedures approved by law? So I don't get it. I mean, you're going to do your lawful duty, and you are going to stay within the law to do your lawful duty. So why are you afraid of the second person seeing what you're doing? So I am against that, and I'm saying, how could a CCTV camera be a subject of investigation? How? I cannot get it.
I mean, to be fair,
so let us not justify wrongdoing. In fact, I personally, I am against wanton corruption within the system. I am against the indiscipline exhibited by various governments, including my own.
Okay.
But I am also very careful that we don't have to also side because we suspect people to have done something wrong, and therefore we apply orthodox methods of keeping the wrongfulness of people's actions. If we are not careful, we will touch innocent persons wrongfully. That is what I'm saying. We have to be careful even in the executing court, so that the human face will always be present in the execution of lawful mandates. That's what I'm saying. Then how could you convince me that I'm coming to investigate a case? Albeit that the application was done ex parte. So it's not even aware that we are coming to search his house.
But Mr. Piakubi, if you go on notice to get a warrant to do a search, I mean, by the time you get to the person's residence, whatever the items the person suspects could be the subject of your search could easily be moved away.
That is why we have to balance the interest.
Because in acquiring the ex parte warrant, it would mean that the magistrate would have been given, there will be an affidavit on oath which would disclose relevant facts that will inform the magistrate and enable her take a decision that I think this search should go ahead.
One person's evidence is always not enough to establish any claim, and therefore I would have thought that prior to the granting of the order of execution of the search, you could file an application on notice that there will be some investigation. Please come to the court, and there is an application for so that at least you are given a hearing, so that pursuant to the granting of the order, it takes effect right from there. Trying to also dismiss the possibility of hiding facts and documents. You understand? But listen to me, when you are in your house, all of a sudden a group of security personnel come to your house and they start engaging equipment in your house, albeit security equipment. These are security equipment. So how would you say that at the moment you start disengaging security equipment, then you make the person so vulnerable to any form of attack? So yes, you are coming to do your lawful duty. You have an order of the court to come and search you. Okay. Yes, the security apparatus there is also monitoring how you are executing the mandate order. And why would you find offense with that? I'm not sure that it's necessary for you to find any offense. Do your lawful duty within the law. Because much as you are also carrying out a lawful duty, you are also enjoined by law to be lawful in your execution.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. We'll see how all that plays out while we wait for more information from the National Intelligence Bureau. But before I let you go, just one issue that I want to pick your thoughts quickly on. Your party, the MPP, cracking down the whip on individuals who are speaking up about the party's defeat in the last election. What do you make of how they are treating Sarah Joasafo?
I have just read the Joasafo invitation, and I think that the party has a right to invite any member of the party for discussion. But when you issue out an invitation to somebody and you indicate that the person will be subject to disciplinary action and that kind of thing,
I think that is way beyond the terms of the invitation. So I think it was not properly done. You see, in all cases, we have to also rely on the Constitution, the rules, and indeed estimate maturity in your office, whatever you do. You could invite the Honourable Member of Parliament and say that, yes, we have been hearing, we have been watching you, so. We think that is not the expectation of the party, and if you have any grievances, and indeed our Constitution says that if you have grievances within the party as a first instance, and you seek attention from the party. Indeed, who will say that me, even talking to you now, I don't have grievances? I do, but the place you air your grievances, a timelessness of the airing of the grievances, and the platform that you enjoy within the party, the air such grievances. In fact, 3 days ago, I had opportunity to meet the microcredit committee. I aired my grievances there. That doesn't mean that I should come out of the meeting and in public try to also air my grievances. I disagree with that line of action. Nevertheless, it is also not the case that probably all persons will have that opportunity to address that committee. So those who probably for one reason or the other will not be able to address the committee and share their grievances, choose to go on air and do so. It is not criminal to air your views in public, but it is probably procedurally unwell for you to do so. And I think advice along those lines will do for now, suffice for now. And the tone of the letter of invitation, I think, is beyond the expectation of members of the party. So I would have thought that any one of us who is seen to be going out of order would need some prompting and some advice, and an opportunity also to be heard. And don't forget that before somebody comes out openly, somebody who is very popular in the party will come out openly to air news. It means that the channel for communication will have been blocked to that person, and therefore, in his frustration, he comes to the public to share. But if the channels of communication within the party are open to you, and you think you have to support the initiative of finding faults within the party, I would strongly suggest that let's do it in the party as a first instance.
Interesting views there from Andy Apiakubi. He's the former member of Parliament for Asante Achim North and a member of the New Patriotic Party as well. Let me come now to Prof. Prof, first on the issue of the NIB's investigation involving the former governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, on that issue, I don't know if Fenyo Marken is the lawyer for Addison. Because Addison, those of us who are intellectuals, it's easy that if you claim that NIB has come to your house and they've ransacked your stuff, you report to the police and get a lawyer to speak for you. So I don't know if this has been made political more than anything else. This morning I was listening to the Ghana...
Don't forget there's a warrant.
Yes, there's a warrant. Yeah. And then we have this news that the Deputy Attorney General is saying that his office issued that. Yesterday he spoke at Joy. Yes. So what I'm saying is that I have some friends who are FBI operatives, and there was this guy in Columbus, Ohio, who was making some salary that they suspected was higher than what was. So what they did was that they had a car parked on the other side of the road, that the car is broken, but they had set up cameras that they were watching the guy to see his movement, and when they can just kick in, because they had a search warrant, but you have to be out because people have guns in their homes. So there are security risk, which is a job hazard for those security intelligence people. They have to look at, okay, does this person have this arm to protect themselves? Now, I've sat with Andy at Key Point a couple of times, so I know how honest Andy is. He's one of the guys I respect very much in MPP. He's very open-minded, and then he speaks his mind. That is a higher loyalty to a country than a political party. And those are the people who are loyal to their country, but just not their political party. If you want to go to somebody's house to search, and there's a search warrant, and there's a CCTV camera, you are not taking the camera. Maybe by the time the person had a hint that you were coming there, they were picking up some things. Don't you think the CCTV camera will capture it? Yeah. So they will go and pick that machine. Intelligence will go and pick that machine and say that, okay, we need this machine because we have some evidence in there and we are going to use it to get a footage to see what he did before we came to the house. So it's a subject of interest in an investigation.
I mean, and that the point that you make is a fantastic logical explanation of what could have happened. But it comes back to the point that we've made around the table about the need for some official communication.
Yes, official communication is key. But you know, intelligence is like politics. They do things in a different way. Politicians will do things in their own way than what the ordinary Ghanaian would do on the street. I have seen Victor Salome and Ibrahim Adams. They were at a Kitikrachi that I visited. I have a photographic memory, and you don't know that I was a morning show host. So I have been in the media space for a long time, and when I talk about things, I know them, that they happen. When Victor Salome and Ibrahim Adams were at the prison in Kitikrachi, do you know what they went through? It was a time for reckoning, accountability. Okay. So if, like AB said, anytime you get a political position, your family people think that you are going to make money. But there will be a day of reckoning that you go and account for your stewardship. And that is what is happening here. If we look at the cancer of corruption, that is killing us. If you look at our road now, Kumasi going to Kumasi, which used to be 4 hours, is now about 7 hours. Okay. The road is choked. We have to make other roads not through the towns, as Europe and the rest of the world have done. We have to make roads, new roads, dual roads, away from the cities, so that people can just go within 3-4 hours. They are in the bigger cities. We have a lot of infrastructure deficit to do. But according to Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition this morning, let me see the figure that is 3 billion Ghana cedis is being lost to individual pockets every year. Okay. We saw the Minister of Finance saying that audit alone at the Bank of Ghana was 720 million Ghana cedis, up to 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, auditing alone at the Bank of Ghana. It's not the whole country, just Bank of Ghana auditing. So if you look at the rots that are going on, we know the building that they wanted to build and the cost involved in that. Of course, if we feel that there has been financial loss or anything, the intelligence agencies have the right to go and then do that. Once they have the warrant, the minister have come to say that the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, that it is coming from his office. So that means it is legitimate. My worry is that if you are accusing them of stealing your 10,000 and your wife's jewelry, then go to the police station. Because the police have the jurisdiction to do that. Yeah. Report, get your lawyers, and then let's get the facts right. Okay. But until we make reforms in the intelligence community, most of the time they don't report to you. Their bosses ask them that go do this operation. And let me put it this way. When we talk about operations, like just any area project, you pick your goal, you make a plan, take an action, and then you measure your progress. And that's what they do to their bosses.
Okay, I mean, we still need more information, and when we get more, we'll see how we're able to go about that. But just by way of final take on the second issue, which unfortunately we could not exhaust in detail, on the Adwoa Safo issue, and the Apia Kubi seems to suggest that, well, he doesn't have a problem with the invitation, but he's not happy about how the party is going about it. But he also has issues with Adwoa Safo also speaking publicly.
Yes.
On
I like Adwoa. Well. I mean, Adwoa is somebody.
In 1 minute for me.
Yes, she's very bold. You know, even to go and support Bawumia against a guy. And when I say a guy, some people I see their comment. You know, we use guy a lot. Yeah. But against Kane Japan, who has 2 cases with her, she's very bold. Adwoa is really very bold. But what she's saying, Andy just rightly said that he had opportunity to meet a Michael Quay committee to voice his grievances. Adwoa have not had that opportunity. And Adwoa said that there was even a time at the table that she was invited. Michael Quay said that unless she leave the place...
Michael Quay Jr.
Yes, Michael Quay Jr. Yeah. Unless Adwoa leave the place, she's not going to do anything. But let me quickly advise MPP. If you want a committee that will investigate into the loss, 1.7 million loss to NDC, you don't go take somebody. We have a lot of young guys who know research and a lot of things. This committee, the way I see things going, some people have got opportunity to speak to the committee, others have not. And if Adwoa have not got opportunity and she goes to the media, she has not aired in anything. Okay. So she did the right thing. It's a higher loyalty. She's building with time, and this is the time to tell the truth. She's told Ghanaians the rot at the school feeding, and then we all have to know what is going on and face that corruption. That is the issue.
Parties should allow members to talk, or members must talk only internally?
No, but you see, the truth is that the MPP, you know, I used to be with the MPP. I joined MPP in 1992. I've always said that if this MPP
I think you've consistently made the point that
was the MPP in 1992, there was no way I would have joined. Okay. I mean, you see, this MPP has operated with a culture of lawlessness since Nana took over in 2007. I mean, that is the MPP we have now. I mean, if you look at, see, his leadership ushered in an era where internal party rules were disregarded, people with dissenting views were suppressed, arrogance and impunity became the norm in the party. I mean, look at the way Afoku was forced out of the party, Comrade Japan and all that. At a point in time, the party was practicing rule of man instead of rule of law, and that is the fruit of the seed they themselves sowed in the past. That they handed the party to an individual, and that is why the party is suffering as we speak today. That, you see, what is happening in the party is just the beginning. What is happening in the party is just the beginning. As we move on, you see a lot of things. But with Adum, just particularly on Adum, I think I believe she's talking too much. You see, people have spoken the same way, along the same line, except that she's bringing on certain issues like the corruption issues, like school feeding, and it's making the party people uncomfortable because the General Secretary has also said a lot of things. My own good friend, you has said a lot of things. Even former majority leader, they are all speaking. But because he is bringing, she is bringing an anger that is making them uncomfortable. The issue of corruption,
but that is the truth.
That's what I'm saying. Let us speak the truth. That is why I'm saying that I like that bit of what he's saying. She's saying that she's being honest. That this government should investigate the issue of school fees.
Yes,
because there are a lot of rot in there, and I expect the government to follow through.
Let me come to Mr. Jantua now. Mr. Jantua, parties reserve the right to enforce laws where they think it has been breached. Don't you agree with that?
Let me just take just a quick point. The NIB, they had a warrant. And so far as you have a warrant, you can go in and search and take whatever you want to take from the house. If you suspect there is some wrong going on. What's the problem? Why are we shouting? The woman has spoken. She has exposed certain things that are going on. Why? MPP wanted to be in Kuku. Why? Why? What she said is important for the people of Ghana to hear. If things are going bad in the party, they should hear. People should talk about it. And she's spoken. I support her 100%. Because what did she say? Character assassination. And I don't see what she said as exposing anything. She is speaking her mind on the rot that she sees in the party. And why are we holding it against her? She has a right. Don't you have a right to speak? If your people are doing wrong to you, don't you have a right? She's been quiet for some time, and she feels this is the time to speak. So let her speak. Let us hear it.
Mr. Maliba.
Yes.
The NDC, you also, invite people once in a while. I remember before one of the elections, about 18 people, stated by General Secretary, were suspended for various anti-party conduct. It's a familiar law that the parties use.
But we don't issue gag orders. You see, in this democracy, there's freedom of expression. Not even, people say freedom of speech. Speech, only a section of people can speak. How about those who cannot speak? It's called freedom of expression, sign language. It's also expression. So freedom of expression. So if you give out a gag order like that, you are more or less suppressing dissenting views. Look, in the last 5 years in this country, tell me, there hasn't been any woman politician who have been so vilified more than Adum Sapo. I'll give you a second to think and give me another name. You can't find that name. I took part in vilifying her here. When she went and acquired her Bodo accent, I sat here and also vilified her. So this woman has got pent up anger. Do you understand? It's bottled. The anger is bottled. Let her talk. Let her express herself. You do this, you end up getting X in your face. Look, Adum Sapo, the things she said on the radio, who didn't know that Nanado is corrupt? So it's not new. It's not as if she's telling us new things that Joseph told us that Nanado told us to stop a certain investigation, isn't it? But we know Akufo-Addo did a lot of those things. It's not new. So I think that what they should be doing is probably to tell her that, oh, can you direct we've set a committee, can you direct your responses there, go there and deal with it. But to tell her not to speak, it's never done. It's wrong, and I think that a political party like MPP, I know, coming out from a 38% defeat is not easy. I know.
They say 42.
Okay, 42, let's give them. It's not easy. But it is important for them to also know that they are not particularly leadership, they are not the only ones who love the party. Leadership in political parties think that they are the only ones who love the party. Oh. Even those who are at the bottom also love the party. Yes. So the pain. In fact, do you know that in some situations, people have to relocate when their parties lose power?
Yes.
Which of the executives relocate?
No.
So don't say that you love the party more than Adwo Safo by so doing also love the party. So there should be. In
fact, the general secretary has no moral turpitude to.
That's a big word.
Yeah, to write that letter.
All right, that's what time would allow us this morning. My guest this morning has been Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi. He's a governance and policy analyst, Ebu Backman, financial and economic analyst, also a senior communicator with the Movement for Change. Kwame Janto is a legal practitioner, energy analyst, and member of the CPP. Abraham Amaliba, Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. Earlier, you heard from Andy Appiah-Kubi, the former member of Parliament for Asante Achim North, who also took you to the Ashanti region, the fire incident that is happening at Adum. William Evansin Kum joined us on Zoom. A special good morning to some individuals. Gershon Intri, watching a regular viewer of the show. Obudai Akwele Comfort as well. And finally, Fidelia Adofo, a regular viewer of the show as well. Good morning to all of you. Continue watching the show. There's more coming up. I'm Joseph Akabele.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo Paint?
Flamingo Paint